guys, I sure come at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Happy to have you here. I'm not alone, joined by Skratch, AK-47. Skratch, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yo, what's up, Ash? Doing pretty good, man. What about you?
Yeah, I gotta resize myself to make sure that we're... Yeah, there we go. That's better. All right. How you been, man? How's life?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Life is busy, you know.
Yeah, what have you been up to inside the game lately? Where's the most of your time going?
Most of my time actually is just on dailies, honestly. I haven't been focused like to do arena at the moment.
Yeah.
I was thinking to do it this week. I've been away the last 3 weeks or 4 actually. And I wanted to do arena today, but I was almost 2,000 points away from platinum. Okay, so I was like, hell no, no way I'm doing that. You know, no way I'm doing that to myself.
Pre-grind or whatever. Yeah.
So I said I'm gonna kick back on it from this week. I'm gonna do it daily because I've been pretty busy the last few weeks. I didn't have a chance to actually grind it daily, you know. And we had the free tokens, which inflated the system even more. So I said, this week I'm gonna do it from Monday to Sunday. So when I wake up on a reset, I'm not gonna be like far away from it, or I'm gonna be probably in platinum, you know.
Makes sense, man. Well, good luck next week or the next time that you go for it. Are you? Did you go for Walking Tomb Drang?
Yes, I did actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I've done the fusion. Yeah.
Me too. Do you like him or no?
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Yeah,
it's more of a progression champion, so I like the idea. The only thing I'm not a big fan is that, unfortunately, is the affinity is not that great for Spider 25, you know, but it's good for other things. So
this is true. Well, today we're not here to talk about Walking Tomb Drang. We're here to talk about artifacts, an updated tier list or at least a ranking of our top 10 artifacts in the game. I have to say, Skratch, there are some really good artifact sets, and how we actually did this video. Man, I just got some nasty Relentless gear. Like, everything I'm looking at is really solid. Cool.
I gotta get out of here. I think I'm gonna lose it.
We did our own tier lists for our top 10s, and we actually had a couple discrepancies. We had a couple artifact sets that the other person did not have in their top 10. So let's start out by shouting out those sets. What was yours that I did not have but you did?
So the Guardian set, I feel like is a pretty strong set all around. You know, it's great to tank for the rest of the team if you don't have a lot of ally protection champions, or it's great for arena, pretty good for PvE as well, and is a monster for clan boss, that set, you know. So I feel like it definitely belongs to have a shout out. There's so many good sets in the game. I feel like we have like 40-50 sets in the game at the moment.
Yeah,
we have a lot of 2-piece sets like the kill stroke, like the fatal, cruel, and all these sets that are great. But I feel like we got so many new sets kind of like in the last few months, in the last 1 year, that is so hard to just throw them in there and be like, these are the top 10 sets. So we actually had to think about it and go back and forward a bit with a few sets. So definitely it's going to be a pretty interesting one, yeah.
Totally agree with you on Guardian gear. And we're not going to just deliver, you know, mediocre YouTube content here, Skratch, today. We're going to go with some examples.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So I want to, you know, I want to put you on the spot here. In every single set we talk about one champion you built in that artifact set. I have Norog up on my screen. He's a dude that I run in Guardian. Just like a lot of damage mitigation when you add that Guardian onto his thick skin passive, right? What about you? Who's the champion that you run in Guardian gear?
Ursaga. For arena, you can run a lot of champions for clan boss like Brockney. I don't like to run Krisk, for example. If you're lucky enough to have a Krisk and do clan boss with him, I don't like to have Guardian on him for some reason, because he already has the ally protection in the kit. But
it's a lot of damage.
Also, champions that you want to tank a bit, they have a decent survivability. You can definitely run them on a Guardian set and get good results, you know, PvE or PvP.
Absolutely. The other one that we had that just didn't make the list right now, just not super meta, I feel, is Shield sets. They're certainly still great for progression, and any champion with a lot of HP or on a go second team in the arena, Mountain King is a champion that I run in a shield set, are great options, right? So PvE progression, just having trouble staying alive, a shield set's going to help you out for a few rounds. Anybody, and I currently use it on my Seer activation team, Skratch, of course, trying to get another buff to strip away. That is doesn't really count, you know? What about you?
Yeah, shield is still a powerful progression set, how we mentioned. It's not meta for arena at the moment, just because we have so many buff strippers, you know. But it's still a solid set for go second teams. You can run it on a Seeker, for example, if you put him as lead, just to tank a bit for your team with his passive as well. You can run him on a Vogot, for example. Champions that have a decent amount of HP. It's a pretty strong set, even for PvE as well, you know.
Absolutely. Mountain King looks so cool, man. Jeez.
He does, yeah?
Haven't really stared at him in a long while.
Is that creepy?
6 minutes into the video, no big deal. We haven't talked about our top 10, so why don't you kick things off here? What is set number 10, Skratch?
Set number 10 is Regen. So Regeneration is such a powerful set for PvE, is absolutely amazing. Starting from Hydra, Doom Tower, Dungeons, whatever you want. If you have support champions, revivers, that don't get to heal a lot, and even if they do get to heal quite a bit, but they need that extra heal, Regen is the set for those champions because they're not gonna die. And if they not gonna die, they're gonna revive your team constantly, keeping your team on point, allowing you to beat whatever content you need to beat in the game, you know.
Absolutely, it's a massive heal, and yeah, it just gets the job done, right? It's also the quintessential set for like almost any solo build, you know, like soloing a Doom Tower boss or whatever. Yep. So for that reason, I run Uros the Soul Cage in Regen, so we can take care of the Scarab King, there you go, and whoever else that I feel like using him against. So incredibly powerful. He just stays alive forever. So running Regen and a little nod to Immortal as well is a great, fierce combination of self-healing. What about you? Any other champion that you run in Regen?
You mentioned a lot of solo champions that I run.
Yes.
They are on a Regen. I'm running pretty much almost my entire Hydra team. My Duchess, my Lydia, my Geomancer. So I'm running quite a few champions on a Regen, actually, yeah. I have loads of Regen gear, crazy.
That is awesome. So you run your almost your entire Hydra team just to keep them, and that way you can, you know, you don't have to rely as much on healing, basically.
I don't like to leave my champions to die too long for Duchess to constantly revive, you know. That's on a cooldown as well. So if my champions are always dead, I'm not dealing damage, and that's gonna slow me down. I'm not gonna be able to get that one key fast. So like that, they're constantly healing, and I don't need to revive. So Krisk is the only one that's not on a Regen because he heals himself with his A2 with the continuous heals, while I have the damage dealers either on a Relentless or Reflex or Savage, depending by the rotation, you know?
Okay, sounds good. Going to set number 9, we're gonna go with Stun. So Stun is our aggregated number 9 list, or on the list, I should say. It's just such a great CC set. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it, Skratch, other than especially champions with AoEs on their A1 if you just need control, or just a bunch of AoEs in their kit. Like, that's a great extra ability to add 18% chance of a stun, or 23 if you pick up Fearsome Presence Mastery. So, yeah, it's still the quintessential kind of CC set, in my opinion. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely think that stun set is kind of like the best, in my opinion. Provoke is very good as well. It has a better chance of actually landing the debuff. The only thing is that they're taking a turn. They're gonna get to attack you, you know?
Yes.
So these sets, both of them, let's just put it like that, they're amazing for PvE, amazing for PvP. Stun set is a bit better just because you're gonna do the secret rooms much easier. You're gonna be able to beat waves much easier if you're doing Doom Tower, if you're doing even dungeons. Even faction wars is so important for faction wars, and secret rooms is absolutely insane. And the whole idea with these sets, if we're talking about arena, is that they don't require accuracy. So if, example, you have a hegemon, you have some champions built on these sets, and the enemy team has like 800, 900 resistance, and I'm going in with 100 accuracy, I'm still gonna have the same chance to land the stun or the provoke, because I don't need accuracy for them. So kind of like a bypass on that huge amount of resistance that some people have, you know.
That's actually a really, really good point. I think a lot of newer players don't realize that it's not predicated on accuracy. So great call out there. Any champions that you like running in stun? I think the first one that came to mind was Deliana for me, because she has that AoE on her A1, as well as, I don't really use her too much though, Deliana, but I do use actually more of Soulbound Bowyer.
I was going to say.
Yeah. For secret rooms, same reason, AoE on the A1, just like great CC option. She also has turn meter on her A3.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm running Soulbound, I'm running Bellower, I'm running every single one of the starter champions on a stun sets for secret rooms, because they're so difficult, those secret rooms actually. You need to constantly stun every opponent. If they're taking a turn, it's game over. So stun sets are playing a massive role for PvE, in my opinion. Yeah.
Totally agree with you. I need to redo my Soulbound Boyer. Oh my gosh.
Everywhere you turn, there's poop. You can't escape the poop. It's like everywhere you turn, poop, poop, poop.
Next up, we have, take us into number 8, Skratch.
We have Lifesteal and Bloodthirst. I feel like they're kind of belonging in the same spot.
Yes.
I know the Bloodthirst is much better because we're getting the crit rate, so that's a massive plus just for the people all around. But by the time you mainly get to use that set, you won't really need the Lifesteal set on your champions. You know, it's going to become more niche and not so popular anymore by the time you're going to get to farm tons of the Bloodthirst. So that's why I feel like they belong in the same spot. Lifesteal is great for progression, right? So I know we're kind of like talking about the top 10 sets, but we're not only thinking for the last
End-game players,
players, the very end game players. This is all around for the entire game, you know, kind of like to benefit every single player, and every end game player used Lifesteal. Okay, so it doesn't exist a single person in this game to say I never used the Lifesteal set. That's why Lifesteal, it still belongs in the top 10 because it is a used set for progression, you know.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. It is. It's not a set that I, frankly, because coming up with a champion that I run and rely on Lifesteal for right now, or Bloodthirst, is really non-existent. I don't think I rely on it for any champions. What about you? Do you run anybody in it right now? I guess I have Shield Guard. I have Shield Guard and Lifesteal, I see. So there you go.
I might have somebody. I cannot remember 100% honestly.
Yeah,
because
it's still a great set, especially when you're starting out. To your point, and in Clan Boss too, when you don't have that cleanser or healer on your team. So
even when you have them, because a lot of times you're not gonna have enough healing. So if you're getting damage like almost near death on a champion, your healer won't be able to put the HP back on. So Lifesteal actually comes in play. Hopefully you're gonna have decent damage on your champion, or you're gonna proc a War Master hit, a Giant Slayer, and he's gonna bring you back on full HP and survive a few more turns, you know.
Absolutely. And we should probably mention where we can farm all this gear in case there's new players watching. So Regeneration is an Ice Golem. Stun is also farmed in Ice Golem. Lifesteal is in Dragon. Bloodthirst is Forge. And now we're up to number 7. Here we go. So number 7, you can find this gear inside the Fire Knight, and that is Immunity Gear. Immunity Gear is and Untouchable, of course, for the out of the Forge. These are still really important sets, right? Even with the rise and fall of resistance meta and stuff like that, Stone Skin, obviously. However, it's still really important to run, especially like a cleanser in the arena team in Immunity Gear. That's probably the number one utility or use case you're going to have, is having somebody who you either need to cleanse your team or you need to CC the enemy team that you do not want to be interrupted or messed with. Just coming in with immunity. Obviously, it can be removed. So, won't help you out against like Warlord, but still going to be beneficial in most scenarios. Anything to add on Immunity Untouchable, and who do you run there, Skratch?
Yeah, of course. So this is more of a PvP set.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as great for PvE. You won't really have a big benefit from the set. But PvP is a big part of the game as well, and you have so many torments, so many crazy champions out there in the game now that can just debuff you with their passives. So having immunity, it allows you to counter all these crazy passives that they have. And how you mentioned with the resistance, it's not really gonna help you against the resistance meta that doesn't exist, or high accuracy or warlords, but it's just a good set overall, and you can still run resistance builds. The reason why you want to have immunity and resistance at the same time is to don't get removed, and to make sure that if you have only resistance, you're not going to be able to counter stun sets and provokes, how I mentioned before. So that's why they go good together, immunity and resistance. I'm not sure if I made the perfect sense.
No,
there.
You did.
I mumbled a bit, but yeah.
No, but you can mitigate artifacts, to your point, and still having that failsafe. And plus, like, even immunity, obviously, it's only lasting 2 turns. So it's you might still need that resist if it's a longer battle. So I use Touch Shaman as an example. She has a cleanse on the A2 with block debuffs, excuse me, and a revive on death. So obviously a champion like her, I want to go in there. And added utility is she's not going to be placing a decreased speed or fear on herself, which is fantastic. So that's an example of a champion that I use. Anybody that comes to mind for you, Skratch?
So I'm using Mitrala, for example. She's on
that's a great example, right, of somebody who has 1,000,000 resistance, but you could still run her in.
Because you can give her accuracy and resistance. So that one, she can go up to 1,000 resistance if you add them out both together. It's actually pretty crazy, Mitrala, yeah?
Absolutely. Okay, so what is number 6?
Number 6 is Reflex Gear. Now,
we might have snubbed this one, man. It seems like it should be top 5's, part of me
I
says,
know, yeah,
you know?
I know. I feel like, yeah, Relentless Reflex is just kind of like, is there, you know? It's top 10, these sets, they're gonna help you all around. So the whole idea with Reflex is, since they introduced the team presets, before was a decent set as well, but since we have the team presets, since we have the new dungeons where the enemy max HP is kept at 10%, Savage is not so powerful for PvE anymore on the last stages, Reflex comes in play and allows you to use the same skill more often, allows you to bring in more damage instead, you know?
Repeat after me. I, Ross,
I, Ross,
take thee, Emily,
take thee, Rachel. Emily.
I feel like Reflex is definitely a very powerful set that skyrocketed recently. I'm running it on Royal Guard, I'm running it on Husk, you can run it on Battle Khazar, you can run it on multiple champions. It's a very powerful set.
That is a great call out there. I also run it on my Royal Guard. I also run it on, more recently, my viewers are probably sick of hearing this, but I rebuilt Contra the Cyclone into Reflex. I'm having so much fun with her because she's, that she only has one other active skill, so you don't have to turn anything off. But that A3, she's letting so many debuffs when that's on Reflex, and then it goes into more provokes and more heals and more, all the passive synergy there. So really loving that build, but also really loving Royal Guard since I switched him over to Reflex as well. Like a lot more damage, especially against Hydra.
100%, yeah.
And they buffed Reflex set as well. Like it used to be a 30% chance to reduce the random skill cooldown by 1 turn. So it got 2 big buffs in a way, Skratch, because of the buff to the actual percentage of reducing that cooldown. And as you mentioned, all the AI customization they added to the game just lends itself to, you can shut down Royal Guard's A3 if you want to, and then all of those cooldowns are going to go right to the takedown ability, which you want more of. So totally agree. What do we have next or is it my turn, your turn? I forgot here.
Your turn.
Okay, number 5 is Relentless. So you mentioned it before, but it's definitely a set that we absolutely love. It's a unique set, 18% chance of getting an extra turn. I remember, Skratch, when I was a new player in this game, I just don't think I recognized how good an 18% chance of getting an extra turn really is. Not only are you getting the extra turn, which is absolutely tremendous, but basically a lot of the champions I just use the most, I just run them in Relentless because they must be really good. So I want them to do more of what they're really good at, and getting that extra turn every so often, it's going to always be there. Kind of like that battery, that motor, just constantly reducing the cooldowns of your skills as well because of the extra turn. And the buffs and the debuffs are going to stay on there, obviously, for the same amount of time, regardless. So, I mean, overall, Relentless Gear is just absolutely amazing. It is only farmable, or actually, it's not farmable. It's only available through, like, events and tournaments and stuff, special stuff like that. Reflex, by the way, is Ice Golem as well. Sorry for not remembering to mention these things. Anything to add on Relentless? I could go on and on and on for all the champions I run.
With the champions.
But yeah, Archbishop Pinthroy, I have Scylla the Drakes, I have Ninja, I have Dracomorph, I have, I could probably just keep going and going. Ugo, anybody who I love what they do and I want them to do a lot more of it, What about you,
it's definitely a great set, even for clan boss, like the Barrier Comp. There are quite a few teams out there that allow you to run Relentless on a killable,
which is crazy. It doesn't feel like you should be able to, right? Like,
I know. Yeah. It's all about the way that the turn meter works, the way they're taking their turns, and the Relentless champion taking their turn all the time before the champion that places unkillable. So that allows us to actually get to run Relentless Gear on champions, which is pretty crazy in clan boss. But I started using it more often as well for the Hydra as well. So I have builds on Husks, on Geomancers, on Royal Guards. I have Reflexes and Relentless, because it's pretty hard to have the same set to build 12 champions, and at a good quality. So I have all these sets around, but I love my Geomancer on Relentless for Hydra, because if I have the head of Decay, the head of Blight, sorry, the one that puts the Toxic Cloud, Geomancer is almost gonna manage to keep HP burn on every single head,
Yep.
Alone.
That's a really, really powerful call out there. Also, Tuana Rock and Doom Priest, the champions that have one of those passives that every turn something happens, you know, so it's just going to happen more often. So yeah, a lot of great options there. What do we have at number 4, Skratch?
So these are a bit of more RNG sets, and mainly, again, we're kind of talking about PvP. Now, we have a newish set, since Hydra got released as well, is the Stone Skin. But I feel like Swift Parry, Stone Skin, they're kind of like in the same niche, because there's a lot of RNG involved with them, 50% chance. So I feel like let's just put them in there together. Stone Skin is a more powerful set. So it's actually a pretty OP set, if you're asking me. It's a lot of RNG involved. There's a 50% chance to remove the buff. But when you have that buff, think about that. You have like a super thick shield that you can barely break, okay? So you need a very powerful nuker to break it on another nuker. Like, it needs to deal tons of damage. On a support champion, you're just not gonna break it. You're not gonna break it on a Duchess or a Rector Drat or a Cardinal, unless you're gonna be able to hit with multiple nukers, and they're very squishy in terms of stats. Then is immune to any debuff except bombs. Bombs deal extra damage on the Stone Skin. So this is such a fun set to run on champions like Cardinal, okay? Because you're gonna go in with Cardinal, the opponent is gonna kill your entire team except Cardinal. She's gonna revive, they're instantly gonna take their turn, and you're gonna wipe them.
Started to look like beautiful women.
So it's such a fun thing to do with Cardinal, honestly.
Oh, I wish I had him, Skratch. I wish I had him. Man, I really want that champion so bad. But yeah, I totally agree with you. If we were just ranking, and like Skratch mentioned, this is Swift Parry and Stone Skin. Stone Skin you can get from the Hydra Clan Boss, and Swift Parry from the Forge. But what was I gonna add to that? I guess yeah. If we're gonna rank only arena sets, Skratch, would you put Stone Skin as number 1, like Stone Skin, Untouchable, and maybe I don't want to name the last one because, or the last 2 because they're in our top 3?
If we're only gonna rank for arena, yeah, I would probably go Stone Skin. Okay. I would probably go Perception, Untouchable, Immunity, kind of like in the same boat. Savage, we cannot forget Savage. Maybe Savage is gonna be second, actually.
Okay. Enough saying that. No spoilers, Skratch. All right, so give me one champion that you run, or one of your favorite champions to run in Swift Parry, and one of your favorite champions to run in Stone Skin.
So in Swift Parry, I have Kendraphone, I have a Duchess in Swift Parry, which are both used for arena. I used to run a Gurgo in Swift Parry set, was pretty solid a while ago. I feel like Stone Skin kind of like took a bit over, but a good player will keep a bit of everything in its team to don't just give the team away with one counter, you know? So if you have multiple things, is gonna work better for your team. So having a Swift Parry here, a Stone Skin there, something else on the other one is gonna make it much harder for the opponent to beat your team easily, you know?
Yeah, I'll have a few call-outs here. Cardinal, obviously, I have her like half naked right now, but Cardinal gets a lot of Stone Skin love. I run Necrot the Great. Necrot the Great is just an absolute monster in Stone Skin. I run Ursuga in Stone Skin as well. I run Warlord in Stone Skin. So basically, for all different reasons. As you mentioned, you can really put any type of champion in Stone Skin. Doesn't have to be a tank. Doesn't have to be a go first, go second team. There's all sorts of reasons. My final question on Stone Skin, Skratch, is: do you run? How would you advise people when they're equipping Stone Skin? Does it ever make sense to go for 1, 2, 3 piece? And then how often do you run 4 piece versus 6 piece?
On champions like Cardinal, I can run 4 piece without a problem. On nukers, depending what exactly I want to do, offense or defense, I can run 4 pieces as well. So we had a kind of like the faction wars thing draft before with the rest of the guys. I know probably everybody's kind of like aware of the thing was like a small challenge. I used Blood Gorged on a Stone Skin for arena offense, you know. Okay. And he destroyed. He was very, very nice on Stone Skin because I made my team super slow. I left the opponent to take a turn because of reaction. I wanted to counter that, and then I was soaking in the damage and just wiped them up quick after because there was no reaction to stay in my way, you know.
Dude, love it, man, love it. And that's it. I guess that's another good option for Stone Skin too, is not just Blood Gorge, but if you don't have him, like even a champion like Phoenix or something, like with a Deny Revival, like obviously there's no coming back from a Deny Revival, right? Unless you have Lydia, I guess. Really, really cool. All right, next up is number 3, and that is going to be
Savage and Lethal,
yes, yes. And
Not
Lethal.
sure if it was me or you. Sorry.
It's okay. Lethal is the reason that we love Dark Fae and that we love the Forge, and Savage obviously is just like the quintessential damage-dealing nuker set inside the game. I mean, you can really talk about any nuker in the game, and I think that you probably can list at least Savage as one of the viable sets. It's weird, Skratch, even to build the nuker now and not put them in Savage or Lethal, right? You're just like, huh.
Yeah.
You almost feel like you're missing something, right? So who's one of your anything to add on Savage and Lethal, and who's one of your favorite champions to run in?
So the damage difference they're going to get from a Savage champion to a non-Savage champion is absolutely mind-blowing, okay? The damage is so much higher with Savage, you guys don't understand it. How good is the set? Even on enemy max HP nukers, if you're progressing through the game before you pass stage 20, up to stage 20 is the most important set to use on enemy max HP nukers because they deal insane damage on bosses. They're going to allow you to farm those bosses faster and just progress better through the game. And when you're talking about arena, every nuker that you would want to run in offense, in kind of like your main team at least, not necessarily for tag team arena where you're going to have to kind of like mix up the sets, Savage should be the number one go set. Either if it's Savage or Lethal, depending which one of them has better stats, you know. I feel like they're kind of belonging in the same place because they're doing the same thing. Lethal is better than Savage, but it's more of a new set, so you gotta farm the Dark Fae quite a lot. It only comes like every 3 months in the Doom Tower, so it's pretty hard to put together a powerful set, you know.
Okay, totally agree. Nothing to add there, but yeah, basically every nuker you're gonna run in Savage. Do you also run? How do you feel about Savage in PvE? You know, do you still like Savage for PvE content? For, you know, talk to me about the upside versus downside of running take your arena totally out of the equation.
PvE, yes, I'm running Savage on my Seer. I feel like Seer needs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
It needs that Savage.
And if you don't believe it, take her off of Savage or try Savage if you've never tried it, and you'll see, wow, this makes a big difference.
Are you finished?
Sorry.
Seer is a very end game champion for dungeons. Stage 21 all the way up to stage 25 to clear waves and stuff because they have a much higher HP. I'm running it on one Royal Guard, which I'm running in the Fire Knight 25 and running him on the Dark Fae as well. I want him to deal more damage on the waves and hit the boss harder, so it's not as important for me there to use the A2 or A3 as often. I want to use the other skills as well and just to deal tons of damage on the waves with it. I probably have a Cold Heart on Savage, which I am running on a stage 25, so it doesn't really mean that much. You know, it's not like the Savage is going to be a necessity for her there. But for my arena champions, I probably have 5 to 10 nukers on a Savage easily.
Okay, same. I'm probably the exact same situation as well. And I meant to mention, I should say that I run one of my Cold Hearts in Reflex, and I turn off that A2 Art of Pain and just go boom, boom, boom. Heat Seeker. Okay, so we talked about all of our Savage Lethal stuff. Coming at number 2 is going to be, this is a tough one, number 2 and number 1. I almost feel like people are going to take exception to putting Speed number 2 because Speed has always been king. It's farmed in Dragon's Lair, one of the first dungeons that most people tackle in the game. It's just so important in Raid Shadow Legends. It's easily probably the first piece of advice that players get in this game is prioritize speed on your champion, speed, crit rate on your nukers, your damage dealers. But speed is so important in terms of scaling to the mid game and progressing in this game and improving your champion's speed. And always, or I should say, there's very few and far situations in between where you don't need speed. I've gotten to the point where if I pull an artifact or if I get an artifact that doesn't have speed as a substat, there's probably a 95% chance I'm trashing it. You know, like that's how important the stat is. So obviously speed gear is tremendous for all those reasons. What champions do I run in speed? Well, I guess I'll just go like super obvious, but whoever your speed booster is inside the arena is the first that comes to mind on like your all-out speed or Great Hall farming team. So in my case, that would be Arbiter. I'm sure a lot of people as well. I have her in triple speed. And just trying to maximize overall speed of the champion and the team.
Probably the very 1% of the end game they're going to disagree with our last 2 picks here, which is fine because this is for the entire community, for the entire player base. But speed is the ultimate king. The reason for it is it's so universal as a set, okay? So you can run it on damage dealers. You can run it on on debuff champions, right? Like on Madame Series, you don't have enough accuracy, you want more speed. You can run a speed set with accuracy, you know? You can run it on nukers. You can run it on pretty much whatever champions you want because it's a good set all around, you know? So the main things, how you mentioned as well, that's kind of like the first thing you're going to need. If you're now winning the speed race, even in PvE, if all the dungeon bosses, the dungeon waves are going before you, you're kind of like, you're not going to make it. You're going to have a very slow farm time or you're going to lose fight after fight. A lot of times I'm going and doing takeovers and I'm checking their builds and I see flat boots, flat chest piece, flat gauntlet, not speed boots. Their speed is like 120, 130. When you're going in a dungeon, the waves are literally taking their turn before you and they're destroying you. So speed is playing a very important role. And even for Arena, a lot of times people would say like, speed is not as important anymore. And in a way or another, it does have plenty of counters out there, so it's not as important anymore. Yes. But it's still playing a very important role. It's kind of like yes and no at the same time. It's hard to put it out there, you know?
Yeah, and it's your point, yes. I mean, it used to be in this game, every team, it felt like, in the early days, were speed teams, basically. And, like, whoever had the highest speed won, basically, you know? Yeah. And now the arena has definitely evolved in a massive way away from that, you know? Like, especially with sets like Swift Parry and Stone Skin, it really brings in new strategy to the equation, which I love, you know? Because second teams, in my opinion, you'd be more educated than I would on the topic, but second teams in the arena right now, it's never been more meta, more viable to have go second teams. Like, speed is not as relevant as it used to be in the arena, but it's still the most relevant stat everywhere in the game. So, and I guess there's a reason that our number one set that we agreed on here, we both had at the top of our list, is so good because it also has speed, and that is perception. I guess we could say perception tied with accuracy, but really perception is in another, you know, wheelhouse.
Another league.
Yeah, it's another league. Yeah, wheelhouse.
No hablo inglés.
Another league, and it's in the Forge, and you said something actually pre-air when we were talking about this that I want to give you credit for, Skratch. But you're like, every account that I go to, when I look at their best champions or their best gear, it's all perception gear, and because A, it's accessible, and B, it's just insanely good to get 40 accuracy from 2 pieces of artifact, and like what? 80% of the champions in this game need accuracy, right? So it's an easy way to get accuracy and also not have to always rely on accuracy banners either, right? You can like run something else, attack, defense, HP, whatever you need there, and not have to rely on just taking up that one accessory slot in accuracy if you go with double or triple perception sets. Anything to add on perception and any champions that you love running? It's hard to even choose, right? Because there's so many options.
Oh, man, I'm using it on so many, so the main thing you gotta understand with this, you're getting speed, 5%, you're getting accuracy, the two most important stats in the game when we're talking about champions. Then is a 2-piece set. So that allows you to build whatever champion you want on a particular set of 4 pieces and bring in a perception next to it. You can run it as an extra broken set for a damage dealer. If you have Savage Perception, you're getting a bit of accuracy on a Soulless, just as an idea. You can run champions like Krisk, Lydia. I have Krisk on a lot of, I think it might be on 3 perception sets. The reason for it is because I'm gonna run him with 400 accuracy for Hydra, for Nightmare, but I need 500 resistance. So the way I'm doing it, I'm using a resistance banner, I'm using a resistance chest piece from a perception set, while I'm getting bonus sets from each set of 2 pieces, multiplied with 3, 120 accuracy, just by running perception sets and accuracy substats, resistance substats. Or I'm running it on nukers as well, because a lot of times I need nukers for PvE. I'm not talking only about arena here, right? Because arena is not everything in the game. It's actually a very small part of the game all around. It helps you to build your clan boss teams. If you gotta get unkillable teams to a high speed, you're gonna be like, the dragon doesn't give me nothing, right? But hey, I can count on perception. I get 5% speed from there, and I'm getting the accuracy that I need for my debuffer. So game one there, you know?
It's so true.
Perception plays such an important role all around, you know?
It's one of my favorite sets personally, and similar to what you mentioned, like all my best gear I feel like is perception, or a lot of it, you know, a lot of my best gear. So yeah, I do a lot of forging of perception artifacts. I have it to your point, like, it's hard to even choose which champions because it's just so nice to have. So nice to have anybody who needs accuracy. I run triple perception on Mithrala, and then she's just getting more resist with the accuracy, obviously. I run it with Lady Kimmy. Anybody who I need accuracy on, who I also want to build really fast for the most part, but it extends beyond just that utility as well. Do you guys agree with us on our top sets here? Just to go over, we have Perception number 1, Speed number 2, Savage and Lethal tied at number 3, Stone Skin Swift Parry at number 4, Relentless at number 5, Reflex number 6, 7 is Immunity and Untouchable, 8 is Lifesteal, 9 Stun, 10 Regeneration. Skratch! Thanks for coming on, man. This is a blast. I really like that we kind of got into champion examples and stuff like that too. I think that hopefully you could take away more from the video than just like, okay, these are great sets, you know?
Absolutely. Hopefully you guys learned something new. Let us know what you think as well of the sets. I know there's so many 2-piece sets like the Cree damage, the Cruel, how I mentioned before, but those sets as well are very powerful. But I feel like these are the core 10 that are gonna help you all around in the game, you know.
Yeah, Killstroke, really good too. I mean, to your point, I guess we apologize if your favorite set wasn't mentioned. There's a lot of great sets that were not included on this list. Let us know what you think in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And we're going to go collab right now on Skratch's channel as well, talking about some of our favorite epics in the game. So check out that video in the description below. Skratch, thanks again for coming on, man.
Anytime, brother.
All right, that's going to do it, guys. Thank you for watching. And as always, take care, guys.